Alright guys, so this is going to be probably one of my most controversial videos I'm going to make on this channel. You're either going to have a lot of people agree with me where I'm going with this, you're going to have a lot of people disagree with me. There's going to be really no middle ground. This video is going to be probably one of the most important Tiger videos I've ever made because it's hitting on some big stuff. Let's first off, before I get to the big fish, let's start with the subtopic. What to do about Jhonny Peralta. Peralta has come back to the team. He's been cleared to practice. He's allowed to take BP. He's allowed to work out with the team. He's allowed to be on the field before gates open. But after gates open, he has to be off the field. He has to be in the clubhouse. He's not allowed by the team because he's still suspended. Now, what should they do with him? I do not want Jhonny Peralta back at shortstop on this team. I do not. You are batshit crazy if you think Jose Iglesias, since he came on this team, has not earned his spot at everyday starting spot at shortstop. Dave Dombrowski has said that it's not going to affect Jose Iglesias whatsoever. But I've already read a lot of comments of people saying they want Peralta back at shortstop because of his bat. Now, Peralta on the year before he got suspended, he was hitting 305, 361, 461, 822 OPS. He had 11 homers and 54 RBIs. He was slugging. He was getting on base at a good clip, good average. He was slugging, a little bit about 460. That's good. Great power numbers. But he's got stone feet. I cannot watch Jhonny Peralta at shortstop anymore. Not after watching Jose Iglesias. I just cannot watch him there. I'm sorry. If it means Peralta cannot... If it means Peralta's coming back to replace Jose Iglesias at shortstop, I would be the biggest person ever against this. I don't care what he brings you at shortstop or brings you with his bat. Jose Iglesias, in 34 games with the Tigers, is hitting 303, 345, 413. So, Iglesias is slugging nearly the same as Peralta. They're about 40 points away, but they're still in 400s. 758 OPS, so he's not posting that shabby of a bad OPS. He's getting on base at a 345 clip. And he's hitting over 300, and he's got 2 homers and 10 RBIs. And he's outplaying Jhonny Peralta in every which way, shape, or the form defense that you can possibly say. I cannot watch Jhonny Peralta at shortstop. I refuse to. If he comes back for starting shortstop, I would be the biggest person against it because it's Jose Iglesias' job. He's earned it to keep. He plays the defensive abilities together isn't even comparable. He's getting on base at a great clip, but he's hitting over 300. Why would you mess with that? Why would you take him out of there? You cannot do that. Now, if they want to put Peralta, I heard rumblings about potentially putting him in left field, whatever. I would be fine for that. If we had to watch Delman Young for a year and a half in left field, I could watch Jhonny Peralta in left field. I really could. He's never played left field before in his career, but if he could do it, I wouldn't be against it if it meant getting his bat in the lineup. Fine. I don't care if he drops many balls. I watched Delman Young out there, and Delman Young's about as bad as... The Phillies cut Delman Young when he was making pennies on their team. That's how bad he was at playing their outfield there. How bad his bat is. If it means getting Peralta's bat in by playing left field, fine. Cool. I'd go ahead. Do it. But if you put him back in at starting shortstop, that would be the worst. The worst move ever because it's helped their starting pitchers. It's helped our middle infield defense. The rate that we get outs has increased. We're not one of the lowest teams anymore for outs. Our balls put in play for outs, made into outs. Double plays turned is increased by almost half. No, you don't fuck with that. You leave Jose Iglesias there. And if it means losing Peralta for the playoffs, who cares? I don't care. He needs to stay. Now, here's my next one. This is the big fish. Now listen closely how I explain this. I think the Tigers should trade Max Scherzer. Yes, I didn't stutter that. I think they should trade Max Scherzer only if, hear me clearly, only if they win the World Series. If they don't win the World Series, then keep him. But if they do win the World Series, they need to trade Max Scherzer. And here's why. Let's glance 5 years down the road from now, okay? Let's take a quick look at the present. Scherzer's going to be a free agent next year. And Fonte's a free agent after this year. Jackson, he's going to be looking for an extension here pretty soon. Fister's coming close to his contract. Porcello's coming close to his contract. And so say you keep re-upping all these guys. And Fonte is going to be about an 8, 9, 10, $11 million player a year, somewhere in there. He's making 4 this year, but he's had 2 really good years with the Tigers. I mean, he's going to want probably 8, 9, 10 million somewhere in between. I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted 12. Scherzer, with the way he's pitching, he's going to want Anibal Sanchez money. He is. Because, I mean, even though this is Scherzer's breakout, you call it his breakout year, he's had great second halves before. I mean, last year in the second half, he pitched to an ERA of sub 270. 2011 was a wash. 2010, he pitched to an ERA of sub 3 in the second half. So he's always shown signs of brilliance that he can pitch very, very well. It's this first year that he's ever just put it all together. And he's not a fluke, if you ask me. He's going to be a great pitcher for a little while longer. So you look at that, and Fonte's going to be 12. I think anywhere from 8 to 12 million. Scherzer's going to want at least 17, 18 million dollars a year. And then Miggy's coming up, and you don't think he's going to want Verlander money? Well, you're out of your mind. So we might as well mark that down 25, 26 million dollars a year. And then Prince Fielder's going to be making $26 million a year. So let's glance 5 years down the line. Miguel will be 34. Prince will be 33. Verlander will be 35. And Fonte, I think, will be 36. I think he's 31 right now. So say you signed for 5 years. So you'd have 4 guys. Oh, and Scherzer would be 34 as well. So you'd have 5 guys right there. 5 guys. Between Verlander, Prince, Cabrera, and Scherzer is $107 million locked up. And you know what happens? When you keep locking up guys that are good now, right on the borderline of 30 for long term, you become what the Cubs were. When you got Carlos Zambrano, when you got Derek Lee, when you got Alfonso Soriano. You up these guys right on the threshold of 30, give them these long-ass extensions, and then you're stuck with them for forever. And then you might as well kiss signing Fisher and Porcello goodbye. And the reason why I would re-up those 2 guys over Scherzer is because, Porcello, his ERA does not reflect it. Do not look at Rick Porcello's ERA this year. Look at his total body of work. He just cannot avoid that one blow-up start every single month. He'll put together 5 straight starts of greatness, and then he just has boom, blow-up starts, 7 earned runs, 6 earned runs. I mean, look at his body of work this year. He just threw a complete game yesterday. I've been dissing Porcello for the longest time, but this year, adding that curveball has really changed his stuff. And he's a guy that when he does lose his velocity, it's okay because he's a sinker baller. Same with Fister. Now, I know he hasn't had the dominant second half that we're accustomed to, but he's a guy that knows how to pitch to movement. He doesn't throw hard. Those are the guys that you get your Andy Pettitts. When he started losing his velocity, he was still effective. He's got almost 300 wins. I think he's at like 260. And he threw harder early in his career, but he knows how to pitch. And that's what kind of pitcher Fister is. And then you might want to have to re-sign Austin Jackson, and how are you going to do that if you keep re-upping all these guys right now, like Max Scherzer, and Omar Fonte, which I do want them to re-sign Fonte because you have to, but he's a bit more cost-effective than Scherzer. But you keep re-upping all these guys that are good right now, and in 5 years you're going to suck. I'm sorry, guys. Well, you go, well, these guys are going to be good for a long time. It's like, okay, they're going to be good for a couple more years. The Tigers' window of opportunity, guys, is this year, next year, and the year after. You got a 3-year window to do something, because after that, I'm sorry. You can't expect Miguel to put up Triple Crown seasons every year by the time he's 33. Look at Prince. His power's already diminished. He's not even going to touch 30 this year. Look at Verlander, how bad of it's not extremely bad, but for Verlander, it's not good at all. If Scherzer wasn't having the year he was having, our staff would be kind of what's going on right now. So you got to look in the future. Because, all right, so say you re-up all those guys. As I was saying, you can kiss Fister goodbye. You can kiss Porcello goodbye. Your only cost-effective options are going to be Iglesias and Nick Castellanos. And then depending on who's in right field after Hunter leaves, maybe Tyler Collins. So this is why I say trade him. Look what the Blue Jays had to give up to get R.A. Dickey, who's not even close to the pitcher Scherzer is. And he's 39. And they gave up Travis d'Arnaud, Syndergaard, and I think one more piece. Both those guys are going to be effective players for the Mets for years to come. And look at the Mets, what they got going. Even though Harvey's injured, he's still going to be a centerpiece of that rotation. You got G, you got Zach Wheeler, and then you're going to have Syndergaard and East. I mean, they got a pitching staff they can build off in the future. On top of, you got guys like Juan Lagares, and then, dudes like... the Caccini guy they just got, Brandon, it's just, they got the pieces there. So you trade Scherzer, And you go out and get your guys for the future. Because look at him, V-Mart's going to be gone in 5 years from now. So look at this at 5 years. So say you trade Scherzer, and you get your third baseman of the future, or your right fielder of the future, or even a catcher of the future. Because who knows how much longer Vila's going to stick around hitting 200 every year. So say you go out there, you could re-up Infante, re-up Porcello, re-up Fister, and you'd have Verlander long-term, so that's 3. And then you'd have Sanchez. So there's your four you guys rotation, 4 pitchers you could definitely win ball games with. And for Scherzer, you could potentially get another pitcher who could be a 3 or a 4. And maybe another stud prospect that could be get a stud third base prospect, a stud catcher prospect, or a stud right fielder. And then you would have a cost-effective pitcher. You'd have a cost-effective third baseman or third baseman, right fielder, whatever position you want to get. On top of, Infante, as he ages, I'm not worried about his skill set going down because he's not a power hitter. And he's just a guy that knows how to hit. 300. Look at Adrian Beltre. He's in his mid-30s and he's still hitting great. It's just because guys that know how to hit. And he's not going to be a guy that's going to be a 100 RBI producer. So his skill set, even as he gets older, it's not going to diminish that much because he's going to be a consistent player for a while long. That's why I want to re-up him. So you'd have your cost-effective, whatever position you get, your third catcher, right fielder, and then you'd be able to re-sign Porcello, Fister, re-up Austin Jackson, and since you're not, Cabrera could move to DH, and you could have Cabrera and Prince switch off from first DH, if they get a third baseman in the future, which is going to have to, because let's face it, guys, Cabrera's 29, and he's already having lots of problems. Notice how many injury problems he's had over the last 2 years. Tell me one time when Cabrera was playing first, when he had all these, having as much back problems, leg problems over the last 2 years, when he was playing first. He hasn't. That position's already hurt his body late in the season. I mean, it's taken a toll on him, all those dives, everything. That's just a hard position to play in your body, and you can't keep, and he's not going to survive a third that much, for forever. Maybe another 2 seasons at most before they before they eventually will get a third baseman. And why not let Scherzer get you that third baseman, or your right fielder and then a pitcher, or a catcher, So you would have Victor would be gone, so you'd have Cabrera and fielder at first / DH. I don't know who at catcher, if he's your big prospect, or third your big prospect, or right your big prospect. And then you would have, like I said, your 4 pitchers, because you'd have Porcello, Fister, Verlander, Sanchez, and then you'd have to get a pitcher with Scherzer, definitely, for a prospect. But he would be cost-effective. And then you'd have Castellanos, and the outfield would be cost-effective. Jackson would be no more than $8-9 million a year, cost-effective. Whoever in right field. And since you didn't re-sign Scherzer, you would have money to go out and get a potential free agent if you need that guy, because you'd be able to. Because if Dave Dombrowski keeps re-signing all these guys that are good right now, in 5 years when you go, oh man, Miggy's really ailing at third, it'd be really nice to push him over to DH, first base, we need to go get some. But wait, he's making $28 million a year. Prince is making 23. Verlander's making 28. Sanchez is making 17. Scherzer's making 21. And look at their background rotation. I wish we still had Fister and Porcello, so we got to get 2 guys with lesser skill sets that are making $5-6 million a year because we got to go more cost effective. And I know Dave Dombrowski, what's his face, Mike Ilitch has the money to re-sign it. All these players, because he's a very good owner. But you can't just re-sign him to re-sign him, because you'll get where the Yankees are and the Cubs are, where you got A-Rods you have to put out there. Where Jeter's making a lot of money. Teixeira's making a lot of money. He's been hurt, and he hasn't really played for the money he's worth. And you got to think for the future with this move. Like I'm saying, you got to think for the future with it. And if trading Max Scherzer will bring you 2 players that'll really help you in the future, cost-effective options, 2 guys that could step in when Prince and Cabrera start going in their twilight years and still carry this team to winning seasons because of the fact that they're younger and they're good players. Why not do it? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking down the line. Because these guys aren't going to be good forever. They're going to get old, and they're going to not be as productive. And if you keep re-signing all these guys right now that are good now, you're going to be crap in the future. That's all. It's all it boils down to. You sign guys that are good now on the threshold of 30. You're going to be crap in the future. So why not move a piece that has the epitome of value right now if they win the World Series, and get something in the future to where, when the turnover comes, when those guys kind of take a back seat on the roster, You got players that could step in and keep you good while those guys act as your great complementary players. Because look at the Cardinals. They told Albert Pujols, walk. We got Matt Adams. We got guys like, they're going to tell Carlos Beltran on the walk. We got Oscar Tavares. We got Colton Wong. Oh, okay, we don't need, who cares? We don't need you, Kyle Loesch. We got Michael Wacha. We got Shelby Miller. We got Trevor Rosenthal. That's why that team's going to be good for the next 10 years, because they got turnover. And that's what you need. And the Tigers aren't going to build a farm system like they are. So why not trade one of your optimal pieces so you can be good? When your big older free agents are leaving, you can let them go because you have guys that can step in and make you good for longer. That's what I want to see, guys. I don't want to see good 4 years of baseball like we saw in 2011, this year, or last year, and this year, and then a couple years after that. I don't want to see 4 good years of baseball. I don't want to be the Phillies, where you got the most expensive rotation in baseball and you don't have that great of a farm system because you traded for Hunter Pence. You traded for Roy Halladay. I don't want to see that. I want to be good 5 years down the line. I want to be good 10 years down the line. I want to see competitive baseball. I don't want to see just this one tiny window and all of a sudden, boom, gone. Because we re-signed up everyone, and now they're aging superstars, and we're expecting a 34-year-old Miguel Cabrera to be the guy he was when he was 29 and carry the lineup. I mean, which you might be able to. You don't know. I mean, he's a once-in-a-generation type superstar. But this move is just for the future, and that's all I'm saying. If they win the World Series, and like I said, I can't stress this enough, if they win the World Series, I'm all for trading Max Scherzer to get pieces for the future so they can still be competitive in the future. That's all I got to say. And I'll reiterate my point on Jhonny Peralta. I don't want him back if he's at shortstop. Simple as that. So I know this video is long as shit, guys, but it's a video that needed to be made, and it's a really hot topic that needs to be heard. So that's all I got for you guys today, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of shit for this, but I'm ready to take it. Have a good one, guys.